do you plan to do with the generational wealth? I mean, what do you plan to do off and on the floor with this new contract?
Well, that's a great question. I want to launch a project to bring Black Wall Street here to Boston. I want to attack the wealth disparity here. I think there's analytics that supports that, stimulating the wealth gap could actually be something that could be betterment for the entire economy. With the biggest financial deal in NBA history, it makes sense to talk about one, your investment in community, but two, also, the wealth disparity here that nobody wants to talk about. It's top 5 in the U.S. It's something that we can all improve on. It's unsettling. And I think through my platform, through influential partners, through selected leaders, government officials, a lot who are in this room, that we can come together and create new jobs, new resources, new businesses, new ideas that could, highlight minorities, but also stimulate the economy and the wealth gap at the same time. I think that could be a mix of commercial entities, real estate, residentials as well. Boston could be, a fully integrated, self-sufficient, hub, attacking minorities and stimulating the wealth gap. I think Boston could be a pilot, not just for wealth disparity here in the U.S., but also for around the world. So you asked me what I wanted to do or what I want to do. One, I want to, attack that wealth gap here in Boston, create a project. Also, I want to help stimulate the overall economy, and I want to bring Black Wall Street here to Boston.
That is what you heard from All-Star guard Jaylen Brown, who's coming off the heels of signing the richest contract in NBA history. 5 years, $304 million that will kick in after next season. And the white media has been very cagey and very conniving, in my opinion. And they are here pocket watching Jaylen Brown. So, what are you planning to do with all that money? I mean, are you going to be like the typical NBA star and spend it on cars, clothes, and hoes and all that? I mean, what do you really plan to do with that money, buddy? But Jaylen Brown having a good head on his shoulders. And this is something that we don't talk about not nearly enough. Because there's instances where athletes have given back to the community, whether it be through programs, whether it be with opening a school, whether it be about whatever. These all we see and all we talk about, and myself included, because I'm just as guilty as the next one, so I'm not on here trying to be all holier than thou, because I'm just as guilty as the next person. But more often than not, we talk about their lifestyle choices, them not working on their game. We are here critiquing every little nook and cranny that happens during the course of a basketball game. We are here critiquing stuff that they do in their personal life. And we're nowhere near talk about the contributions that they have made to the community. Kyrie Irving, for the amount of criticism that Kyrie Irving has taken in mainstream media and on social media, Kyrie Irving puts his money where his mouth is. James Harden, I'm one of the biggest James Harden detractors out there, but you know what? Through all the partying, through all the trail burgers, through all the honey buns in the nightclub and all that stuff, James Harden on instances has given money back to the community. When there was a story when James Harden was out in Houston, I'll never forget this, man. This is why I don't go as hard on James Harden like I normally would. He saw a homeless woman with children fishing. And he gave that woman $10,000 just to help her family out. And this is why he was in the Bahamas. He did that. But that don't get talked about on ESPN. You won't hear Malik and Andrews shower praise upon that. So when you see individuals like Jaylen Brown and Jalen Rose, opening his school, LeBron James opening his school and stuff like that, that stuff was to be lauded. That stuff to be respected. That stuff's to be appreciated because they don't have to do that. More often than not, these guys choose not to do that. But Jaylen Brown, being on code, being who he says he is, he don't advertise who he is. He shows it through his deeds and with his money. And that right there is to be appreciated and to be respected. Because, like I said, he don't have to do any of this. He can take that money and do whatever with whatever, however he wants to. But he wants to give back to the people who's less fortunate, put resources together so that way whoever wants it will have access to it and that they can accrue generational wealth. When I was growing up in school, I didn't know anything about Black Wall Street. It was only through the addition or adaptation of social media where I learned about Black Wall Street and how it was a community that was thriving. But it was only because of some white supremacists that Black Wall Street's no more. So the Tulsa Race Massacre out in 1921, that was known as Black Wall Street out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a 2-day long occurrence between May 31st and June 1st of 1921, when mobs of white residents, some who had been appointed as deputies and armed by government city officials, attacked black residents and destroyed homes and businesses in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was one of the worst incidents of racial violence in American history. The attackers burned and destroyed more than 35 square blocks of the neighborhood. At one time, was one of the wealthiest black communities in the United States. More than 800 people were admitted to the hospitals. 6,000 black residents of Tulsa were interned in large facilities, many of them for several days. The Oklahoma Bureau of Violence Statistics officially recorded 36 dead, but the 2001 Reparations Coalition examination of events identified 39 dead, 26 black, 13 white, based on contemporary autopsy reports, death certificates, and other records. The commission gave several estimates ranging from 75 to 300 people dead. The massacre began Memorial Day weekend after 19-year-old Dick Rowland, a black shoe shiner, was accused of assaulting Sarah Page, a 17-year-old elevator operator in the nearby Drexel building. She was a white woman. He was arrested, and rumors that he was to be lynched were spread throughout the city, where a white the lies of a white woman has caused irreparable damage to the black community. Now, what Jaylen Brown is attempting to do, I caution my brother Jaylen Brown because this is going to come with some resistance. This is going to come with some pushback. This is going to come with people trying to derail his vision. And you're also going to have people out there who is going to try to sabotage his vision. Mm-hmm. Apologize for the delay. Had to refresh my page a little bit, but there's going to be people out there that's going to try to sabotage his vision for a Black Wall Street out in Boston. Um, so, however he decides to do that, I just caution him to be very careful. When you're getting that kind of money, you're going to have schemers and scammers trying to come in and try to get themselves a piece of the pie. All in all, though, you got to give respect to Jaylen Brown for even attempting this and then be so brazen and be so unapologetically about that life. I like that about him, man. That's the one thing I really do like about it. The way he was speaking about that, it was unapologetic. It wasn't like come off as timid. It didn't come off as he was forced to say that. No. He said what he said and he meant it. He said what he said and he meant it. And you got to give props to that, man. You got to give much respect to Jaylen Brown for even putting this idea out here. You know what I'm saying? And especially in Boston. And if you've been to Boston, Boston is one of the most racist cities out here in America. Like, that's absolutely no cap. What's up, Tyler Brown, Slim 21? Salute to you. So I got to tip my hat to Jaylen Brown, man. If he pulls this off, this is an avenue where the less fortunate, most likely, more specifically in the black community, is going to thrive off of this. He's going to thrive off of this. People who are less fortunate will have an avenue to where they don't have to be subjected to lies at some school or have to go through some kind of college to where they have to go to some college and then they got to get some degree that's not free. And then they spent all that time in school only to not get the job that they would spend all that time and all that money trying to learn. All right, y'all. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I probably more likely will end up doing this video again, considering that the Wi-Fi is being non-compliant right now. But if you're not subscribing to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Shouts out to the LDBC. It's your man. Scream at me. Oh!